getting crushed in lane, and these are two substitutes they picked up from Ember. Those guys actually need to kind of leverage this LCS experience and try and do a little bit better if Fox wants to pick up some games.
Yeah, we've seen Golden Glue on the stage quite a few times, still trying to bring that veteran status back to players on the team, but at this point when it becomes so individual, you almost continue to play for yourself and hope everybody else reaches that caliber. It becomes a bit messy, and that's why we see that lack of communication. We'll see what TSM can do and if they can find that kind of window opportunity that Fox is leaving open here with the roster changes. On to the bans. Lissandra, Nidalee Gangplank getting banned out. We've seen a lot of the Nidalee coming in today. Quinn as well. Yeah. The Corki being banned out.
I had to imagine Nidalee was seeing some insane success in scrims probably this week. Maybe something to do with everyone just doing strength of 8 is on the jungler, so Nidalee, at least in the mid game, gets about 300 extra health that she can dive in with and still try and punish people. Kind of hard to put my finger on exactly why it's been so successful this week, but on the side of Echo Fox, those are some interesting bans, really respecting a Corki pick from Bjergsen in the mid lane on that side. And that kind of does go to show that maybe they don't have as much faith on Golden Glue to play it, since there's a lot of power picks you trade, and I wouldn't expect to first pick Corki. It would have been something Echo Fox should have picked up on the red side.
Also, Hansard out, getting the Poppy, as Fox chooses to, as you said, ban away a few of the picks that could have been theirs. Hansard has been having a few good games on that Poppy in the top lane, so to have him back on it means he can do a lot of more solo plays by himself, because that's where we saw his mechanics coming to light.
Totally. With Gangplank banned as well, Poppy probably the most powerful champion on the board. Ryze has been getting through more and more as teams are, getting used to playing against Ryze, as well as realizing it may not be the highest priority unless you are very, very good on it.
I like a lot of the picks as well. A lot of versatility coming out of some champion pools. We've seen the Zillion. We just saw Huni play Cho'Gath. We got more Lux, more Kennen coming out. A lot of compositions can really be put together here with the champions we've seen in Season 6. However, once those S tiers are up, you're going to get a Kalista and Elise if it's left there. Hard and solo, lock those in.
Yeah, Elise is also one of Svenskaren's better champions, but it is not that much of a power pick when you still have Graves on the board. Something Svenskeren can definitely play. He played against Team Dignitas in Week 2 for a victory, and really powerful picks coming through there on Team Solomon side. Those are two things that you could expect to be taken first rotation on red side. Yeah. It's very rare that you get both those things when the pick and ban swing back around for you, but that just has to play into the bans. This game, you can see there were a lot of very low percentage bans here, 9.1% for Quinn, 27% for Corki. So the higher percentage ban champions, there were more of them in the game, which is why they're all getting picked up later in the draft here.
The top laner and an AD carry to leave Golden Glue with a counter pick for himself. Macy Bjergsen going on a victor here. He's been trending towards that a bit more, but if Golden Glue were to take that away, Bjergsen would still have to find something else. Well, they decide to blind pick that, though. We'll see. Trundle is going to be locked in here. And a support, actually, they lock in. That's right, they have the AD carry. Which I look around.
Which does telegraph the Trundle going in the top lane. So again, we will see the Trundle versus Poppy matchup. And if it is an isolated lane, the stat check can actually be won by Trundle here against Poppy, because Poppy gets increased resistance when she's below a certain health threshold, which just gives Trundle more to steal.
Yes.
But as we saw in our first game of the day, if you have lower income there, the Poppy can have a huge impact early game when compared to the Trundle. So look for TSM to try and make some early moves with Hansard here.
That's where teams have been focusing. The first time we saw TSM come back in, I was casting with Kobe, and I remember Hansard going down. We'll see if Fox tries to get the focus on that Poppy and shut him up so much that it won't be a factor. So much economy loss that he won't be able to do anything.
No economy. It's a recession up in here.
He's been playing really well. It's going to be hard to do. It's going to be a bounce back to fundamentals here for Bjergsen. Syndra gets locked in. Doublelift gets Illusion. And now Golden Glue to round it out. May see that victor come from him.
Yeah, if you're going to have to blind pick a mid laner against someone who has been struggling in lane in LCS, which is Golden Glue, he's down over 20 CS at 10 on average so far in the games he's subbed in. Syndra's a spectacular pick because there's not much you can pick against Syndra that feels safe, and it is an absolute lane bully against all these matchups that maybe Golden Glue would want to pick into him. Normally, Team Solo Mid waits until as late as possible to draft Bjergsen's mid laner, which they did here on the blue side. It's just it's not able to get them counterpick because Fox held on Golden Glue's champion till the very end.
Golden Glue falls behind a bit, but he can make those plays. That window of opportunity when it's there, he sees them and can make them happen. They haven't been that often lately because teams are so strong against the entire squad of Fox. They're finding no windows to get in, but again, the Lux pick comes up. He is going to try to be firing lasers down. They've got a bit of good lockdown with the Trundle Pillar and the Cocoons to set this up. See what the Fox can do here. They definitely have to kind of get themselves a lead to make this composition work.
Yeah, Lux pick does make a lot of sense in this context. It's something you can just hope to wave clear against Bjergsen, not fall too far behind in the CS. And then hopefully get the setup from either Cocoons or Trundle Pillars to make like bindings easier to land, and they're going to go from there with the poke. So no huge flaws in Echo Fox's composition, but when you look at TSM, they have close to 5 champions that are absolutely ideal for the player, which I think makes their draft a little bit better.
Team Solo Mid now 3-3, looking to get some wins really where they need it here. We're getting very, very close. 3 more games, and these teams will have pretty much played the first half of the split.
Yeah.
And then you go right back around the batting order. Got to make sure you get these wins in now so it won't be so pressured when you come into game number 2. You see Jarge and Cop meeting in the middle. And now it's going to be up to Echo Fox. Try to pull a win and get some confidence from this game or this team and the synergy they've been looking for. It's very hard with roster swaps every week, but still, there is surprise that can come out of a sub-team, and we've seen teams be taken down by that.
Yeah, it's very true, and Team Solomon needs to have big goals coming into this week. They need to be shooting for a 2-0 because the teams they play this weekend are the easiest teams they've played in a weekend thus far in the LCS.
Well, the game's about to go live, so start your voting for the team you think will come out on top. Hashtag TSM win or hashtag Fox win. And we'll see what you guys say and the Fox says after this game, and we'll see if he's saying victory. It's been a while since he said that. TSM's going to look to make it a loss, and Fox is going to do everything they can to put TSM in that hole. We'll see on the Rift now, and we are going to get our matchup. Where do they head off the bat? We got AD carry bot lane, AD carry hovering towards the bot on both sides. Let's see if we get this matchup. We want to see some action in the early game.
Yes, we do want to see a lot of that early game action. Interesting, actually, that Sven Skaren started with the Hunter's Talisman. I usually see the Machete open for Graves. I thought maybe he would be running armor penetration so he wouldn't have much for the lifesteal, but nope. He's running a lot of attack damage in his runes. Shouldn't be much of a difference, though. Graves' early clear is still very effective, and it does look like they are a defensive line open here.
So safe play all around. Touch of Corruption in that top lane for both Haunser and Solo. Well, it looks like we are going to get that swap in, however. So a little bit longer of a jungle path here for the junglers to start off, and we'll see the mid laners kind of on an island, which leaves Golden Glue and Bjergsen up for that kill potential. We see Ignite versus Barrier, so Golden Glue should be able to stay safe in that early game.
Yeah, well, especially with Elise early on, and Hard's going to want to come in here and make a big impact in his first game. These are obviously not the solo laners he's going to be playing with long term. Hard is definitely going to be wanting to play with Froggen once he makes it back. But in the meantime, he is on a jungler who can make a lot of early game impact. And that's really what Echo Fox has to do here against TSM, since they don't have the experience to really close out the close, long games. They're going to want to take over this one early.
Yeah, you can see, or you think already from having the experience TSM kind of has in their back pocket, the way to fix a mistake, the way to already swap back the lanes. Fox, a little bit of the communication there won't be as won't be as much as they need. So you see Fox falling behind in instances like that. We'll see how they do on this initial lane swap. Looks like everything even on the get-go. We'll start off a little bit harassed from Bjergsen in the mid lane as he tries to get aggression there. Looking for what Sven Skaren can do. We haven't actually seen him be I'm just going for Bjergsen in the mid lane either. Kind of how we saw in TSM in the past.
Sven Skaren's been his own man.
He's been his own.
Ganking whoever he wants.
Yep.
A lot of farming and a lot of aggression, sometimes too much. Once again, everyone kind of talked about as big as doing his best to harass Sven Skaren. Do have to point out this is a bit of a non-standard open since both junglers began on the weak side of their jungle and then are clearing towards their strong side. Strong side, of course, is the side of the map where they have more people.
Right.
So it does leave them open to harass, like what Big just tried to do to them, but ultimately it was unsuccessful. He still hit level 3 off of doing 3 kills.
Shouldn't be too bad. They will be able to get Solo down to the bot lane. Big will be there on the turret as well, so we'll have both top and bottom turret going down in this lane swap just about the same time. This is where we actually saw a few teams get behind in the EU LCS.
Yeah. If you don't do this properly, or if you push too far through to the second turret, don't have time to finish it, the choices you make here do have a pretty large ripple effect throughout the rest of it. As of now, it's completely mirrored. And I do want to get back to the point we were talking about with Sven Skaren and how he's adapting to the team. Because most people are talking about the superstars on this team of Bjergsen, Doublift, and Yellowstar having a play style that can mesh with everyone. But what about Sven Skaren? He's been in some really unique situations. With SK Gaming in the spring split of 2015, they were the #1 team for the majority of the regular season. And Sven Skaren actually did that with a very heavy carry pressure style type of jungling that had very few wards. And there's always been that joke about 4 members of TSM being human wards and then Bjergsen in the mid lane. Like, that's no way that's ever going to be the case with Sven Skaren coming in. So he's just actually another person that has a very unique play style in his own and has to make it fit with all these new set of players.
It's a versatile champion pool, too. You can look at this guy to say, oh, you know, this champion's being released, or on this patch, this champion will become prevalent. He will be a guy to go and use those champions, or say towards Xmithy, who likes to stay more towards Sindelhart. We saw him on the Graves today, but it's just Sven Skaren can kind of go from champion to champion. It seems like his mechanics fit a bigger style more.
It's true. More aggressive style.
More aggressive style. There it is. Thank you. Well, we'll see how aggressive he gets. He is on the Graves. It's been very, very quiet from the junglers here in the beginning since they've been kind of quartered to their own jungles as the split push was occurring. But here, Haunter waiting on Keith. Does not like the fact that he just saw Big, though, and pulls off for the game.
Yeah, this will be really interesting. So Doublift is alone down in the bottom lane shoving, and there are actually some TSM members laying in wait, almost hoping that Haunter gets dove here. But then as the Elise recalls as well, they're feeling pretty safe. But TSM doesn't really know this because so much is in the fog. The main reason Haunter is pushing up is because Fox backed away, so he's able to get that free farm. I like the fact that he's getting all this experience. It's huge for Poppy in this lane, so I'll have to be able to do that. Missed a few CS there at the turret.
It's all right. Gonna miss a few. Sticking to your candy cane hammer. It's okay. 5.5 in Bjergsen, 38-35. So Golden Glue falling behind a little bit there, but it was just pushed a little lane so he could get back. We'll see as he comes back and cleans these up. It'll be much, much easier with the Lucent Singularity range. Bjergsen, we saw him going aggressive on Golden Glue a little bit earlier in the lane, so that pressure is definitely going to help him if he wants to go for a kill. And Sven Skaren makes himself present. Love for Dragon area here from Fox, trying to set up towards the bottom side of the map, knowing that they're going to be pushing up a little bit more on this wave, and maybe trying to catch out Haunter.
Pretty dangerous world for Haunter to be walking in. He's mainly been trying to shadow the big unclaimed minion waves and avoid getting dove, while Doublift has more been used as a solo pusher. So we'll be seeing a discrepancy here in Keith's level versus Doublift's level. You can already see Doublift halfway towards level 6, whereas Keith is still sitting at level 4. And we are actually prepping ourselves for an inner turret trade if they wanted to stay. But no, Fox doubles back. They're going to lose a lot of experience here and give Haunter the big minion wave.
See if Fox's choice is correct. He's trying to get around the minion. They go for the cocoon, and no chase without really too much knowledge of the map above them. I mean, they have a pink ward and try, but really the focus might be for the top turret. Right now, we see both Keith and Big making their way there, and Hard rather looks like he's just okay with all that happening in his jungle. Didn't want to go aggressive. The team is being very patient with things.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep up with this type of lane swapping. It's why teams do it so often, is when you're more experienced at it, you can very clearly get some big advantages on, since all the stuff is being done blind or with very limited ward vision. But Haunter's been able to pick up a lot of free minion waves, even though the CS is very close with him in solo. The main differential is going to be, I think, Doublift's experience and overall pressure range, and it's already, it's a 500 gold difference, but that's somewhat substantial 7 minutes in.
They're getting what I call wherever you can wards down right now on the side of Fox. You can't really get him in the brush because it's too scary, so you put him near the wall, near the brush, just hoping you get a little bit of vision down to stop this snowball TSM has started. Top lane did not go down in the second tier turret, neither did the bot, but bot didn't take any damage. TSM really on the map control right now and starting to push their ward line up. It's about a 300 gold lead, but the pressure that they have to work with, much greater than that gold lead right now. Not too many core items coming out just yet.
You know, you can just walk behind the Sentinel and use the 2 shots on it, but then and technically they know someone was in there. And Graves doesn't like reloading. It's sneaky little moves, Sven Skaren in there. Just, he's been in and out of that jungle so many times, still not spotted by the Sentinels that have been patrolling the whole game.
So where are we at? 8 minutes into the game. Looking at the composition that Fox has. A bit of catch and the laser would be bad around Dragon. Is this something TSM gives up for the first one, or something they can easily fight for against Fox?
It's going to be really tricky, and it actually all depends on what type of pre-fight poke would be landing, because both these teams rely very heavily on engage from the Fog of War. Whether it's a Syndra stun through the fog or an Elise or Lux stun through the fog, that person who gets caught has the potential to be completely killed from 100 to 0. So most of it would just come down to ward control. If one team has to go in blind, they're just going to choose not to do that because the risk would be too high. Speaking of Fog of War, two-level advantage on Sven, and that's a wall you do not want to be near.
He put himself right in front of it. Look, Sven's not even taking that much damage as well. Just about a 3v1. Flash the Lucid Singularity as well, the Light Binding, I should say. And now on to Yellow Star. Does not have his ultimate at level 4, Ali. And Yellow goes down. That's going to be one kill coming in for Fox. They are looking to get out of this one quick before they lose too many. Haunter has already teleported up, and they're going on the fight. Big's going to get hit. No, he does not get hit. He is going to burn, but he stays alive, and somehow Fox gets out by the skin of their teeth, and they take down Yellow Star.
Big team fight win there, and it's because they collapsed faster and not everyone on TSM was fully committed to the play. It's a problem we've been seeing time and time again here because there was a two-level advantage between the junglers. Svenskeren did a whole bunch of damage onto the Elise, but then all of a sudden there were 3 people on Echo Fox around him, and TSM still hadn't done the full collapse.
Yeah.
In doing that, Yellow Star gets caught up at the very end of the play, and he ends up being first blood.
Fox really pushing himself to the edge there. Very scary when you see all of your full combo do almost no damage to the guy you're fighting. But they still got it out alive. That's going to be Svenskeren's flash blown here as well in this situation. But just instantly, you know that's a bad situation.
Yeah, being against a wall as well, he gets the nice Q on Graves. And then he flashes a binding he probably didn't need.
Right, it was close.
And it's interesting because TSM actually got the teleport in first, but it's really just the fact that it was a sloppy collapse by TSM. There was no collapse to be had unless TSM had a numbers advantage on one side or the other. But the main force of Echo Fox was to be the one that needs to move around, and they moved everyone over into 2 people on TSM, which is why Yellow Star fell.
And maybe Fox, Big would have been a kill there if he hadn't gotten hit by Haunter's ultimate. He was the last one in line, and the caboose got saved on there. Now, a bit of pressure towards the mid lane, also to the bot. You see everybody getting themselves up towards this second tier as Doublet's going to have some free time on the first one. Svenskeren, more wards. TSM wasting no time to push the ward line forward. If they lose top here, they should be able to easily grab Dragon, and they have all the vision they need for that. Haunter is going to be backing as they trade turrets here, so even if they don't get Dragon, no big loss.
Yeah. And it is a 1,000 gold lead even after that team fight loss. But I know TSM has been saying they are not living up to the expectations so far as the turret gets traded back, which moves it to about 400. And it's very true. There's a team, they beat Liquid in week 1, Team Dignitas in week 2, Cloud9 in week 3. But they were also almost perfect game by NRG, and you're wondering which TSM is going to show up, the one that beat Cloud9 in a close game, or the one that got 0-19 against NRG. And it is looking like a mix of the two right here, because it's definitely not a super clean performance against Echo Fox, who is a team who's only won a single game thus far this year.
It's definitely seemed to take a bit more time to find that. I don't know if what they want is kind of get to the same area, because you have 4 new people. Maybe that's not what you find. It's maybe a different path completely to finding that synergy for the team. But you're right, with very high highs and very low lows, there's really no consistency right now for the TSM squad.
Oh,
maybe a win here. Continues to pick the team up, show them a way to be played. With the Haunter, with Haunter on Poppy, we've seen that take an effect where he just continues to play the side lanes and split. Not really happening as much this time. Seems like Fox is actually getting TSM to group as much as they needed to here for a few fights, and now kind of walking TSM around the jungle. Haven't been able to get much past these second tier turrets. TSM did everything in the early game very fast, but Fox has been able to put kind of a blocker up now.
Yeah, and Golden Glue has reached his Frost Queen's claim, which is a rush, which means his gold generation will be enhanced here for the foreseeable future, and he's not actually even taken that much turret damage. So as far as holding up against Bjergsen, he's done very well this game. And solo on Trundle hasn't been punished at all by a stronger early game from Poppy. He's actually gone Sheen first item, which is probably going to build up towards Iceborne Gauntlets, which means his shove is almost non-existent. It takes him so long to farm, yet he's had enough time to get a 20 CS advantage over Haunter's Poppy. So Fox actually in a very good position
Yep.
13 minutes into the game.
They're doing nice. So you said Fog of War earlier. We now see the Frost Queens come online. We haven't seen any of the slows, the catch potential, the lasers starting off these fights. It's been pretty much full HP. Once we get some of that pick and poke in, it's going to be a lot harder for TSM to stay and engage on these fights.
Yeah, and we also look at the difference in the jungle enchantment. We have the Tracker's Knife from Hard, so he's going to be getting 2 wards every time to go back to the base. But we have the Challenging Smite on Sven Skaren. And Graves is not the type of jungler where you can go a combat smite and then also build the Sightstone to make up for the wards. No, you just don't have wards, aside from the pinks that you buy and your trinket. And the way that works is if you have a huge amount of map pressure and you're constantly up in the opponent's face. But that actually isn't the case right now. So TSM is lacking severely from vision.
Give me your damage. The solo's going in for the fight. Double lift.
That's what happens when you don't have the vision of the map right there, because they do not have the ward coverage. Solo has the sheen, he does the stat check on a double lift, and he just rolls through him with the rest of the team being back.
Every time I see one of those plays, I think to myself, and here's Double Lift on the left, farming in his natural environment. There he goes.
Oh, a Predator approaches.
Here comes the Predator. So a pick on mid. Bjergsen gets pushed out, but no kills coming from that. Just the top one on Double Lift we had a second ago. Now Fox controls on the Rift Herald. It's going to go over to Hard so he can continue to rifle through his jungle and make something work for the team even bigger. Mid lane pressure, lose the Singularity. So what a easy push off. Very nicely done by Golden Glue.
Big wave clear from Lux.
Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3Z. Where do we go from here? So there's that 20 CS you're talking about for Golden Glue down there, but they're making things work not off of mid lane, away from mid lane, I should say. They're moving to the top lane where they know they can get something as a team, moving down, staying in the jungle as a team. Power and numbers here for Fox. So far it's working. They haven't gained too much ground yet, though. They still have to push forward after these fights.
They are down in gold, in fact.
Right.
And this Dragon would give them a slight stat advantage due to the 6% attack damage and ability power from the first Dragon buff. But the important thing to note here is, like, this happens frequently to Team Solomid. In the game they got 19 kills to 0 against Energy last week, they were up or even in gold for the majority of that game, even though they couldn't get kills. So something the TSM is doing is working, and that's them shoving the lanes up consistently and outfarming their opponents in most roles. Right now it's jungle, mid, and AD carry have substantially higher CS, but they are just not doing it in safety, and they are not transitioning that pressure into kills. They are getting picked off instead of being the aggressor.
Yep. Very interesting to see, because that would not be Wild Turtle in last season, right? Farming in a lane by himself. They would all kind of be with each other here, setting up the bushwhack. Will they get it? Will it be big? Who's going to be silly enough to walk in the jungle?
Oh, look, the Frost Queen.
There you go. Easy peasy.
The power of the Frost Queen's thing. Sure, you can only do that every 90 seconds instead of 60 seconds in this last patch, but that is why you get that item. Even if Morellonomicon has more cost efficiency. Saves a face check right there and kind of invalidates the pink ward pressure that TSM had spent. There were so many combined seconds of player movement time invested in that play, all taken away because Golden Glue pressed his button.
Lanes get a little bit of movement in favor of Fox on that. See Double Lift try to stay top lane and keep pushing in top. Haunter's not really gaining too much ground in this bot side, and there's that Iceborne finished up now by Solo. Teleports are up for a play on both sides. Fox looks to push their wards forward a little bit here.
Yeah, they're looking pretty competitive in this game. And it's going to be all about the vision control, which is still kind of surprising me. Yes, Challenging Smite is what a lot of Graves do because it allows you to play very aggressive and really get up in the face in counter-jungling scenarios. It hasn't worked out huge. Big.
Almost.
Still forced to flash.
There was like maybe 10 seconds where the map was completely dark of Fox members.
Yep.
I'm sure TSM was just thinking, somebody's getting it, guys. Be careful.
Yeah.
You're about to get flashed on or fate's called.
Yeah, and it was a big investment by Echo Fox to try that gank, and they're just rotating around trying to get kills. But in the meantime, their waves are getting consistently shoved in, so they will need to be able to force some offensive plays as TSM keeps trying to apply that pressure. They just haven't been able to break through.
Nope.
All these board checks.
Yep.
This game could definitely swing on a face check. Only one sweeper on the side of TSM, which makes it much harder for them to set up the plays. That's why they're really buying a lot of pink wards. But the Tracker's Knife and the Sightstone from Big are making it, not to mention the Frost Queen's Flame, pretty difficult to force any type of pick.
Pretty much the last thing they need. Talked about the Fog of War, seeing Bjergsen and the team standing at a turret. I mean, it's going to have to be Yellow Star diving under it. Very hard to do against this team with so much lockup. Let's see where TSM can make their move. Is it going to be a mistake from Fox? Do they get the push on, you know, Keith when he goes too far out? So many things left up for grab, and what we've been seeing is Solo and Hanser back and forth in the lane. It's making Solo that much bigger right now. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to stop him in a fight. Top lane now is going to be controlled by Keith and Big. As Hard goes back up there to help them out. Just back and forth. They're definitely respecting TSM, but I think Fox also knows they can win this fight, or whatever results from this.
It's true.
Very, very close right now.
Trying to get some poke down early. Ooh. I'd also be interested to see who would win in an actual duel between Hanser and Solo, or if they, like, I want to see them actually go at each other, because it's two tanks. Soon they will both have Iceborne gauntlets.
True.
Neither one of them is really willing to commit. It's because they are so many people missing on the map. They don't want to get caught in a dumb duel. But it will be an interesting stat check, because I feel like Trundle should have the upper hand once he gets his items. But Poppy is also...
I would go with that as well.
Poppy is also absolutely ridiculous right now.
The thing, so the thing for Solo is all he has to do is run and bite. Poppy kind of has to work it around. Fate's Call into Yellow Star. A lot to be focusing on the cow to start. You can see Fox doesn't want it initially. Big still hooking in the cow, though. They try to get off that. What a rend coming in from Keith. Cuts up Yellow Star and a bunch of fillets.
Yeah, huge example of why Callista is actually amazing against Alistar, because yes, Alistar can put up his Unbreakable Will, but Callista gets to delay her damage by stacking up spears and then rending once the ultimate is down. An actual very slight miscalculation from Keith. He would have loved to get one more auto attack in, because his rend took him to about 10 health, and then the Ignite from Big ended up picking up the second kill there, which is super non-ideal. Echo Fox wants kills on everyone except for the Thresh right now. But still gets the kill, still nice.
Able to pick it up. They seemed a little bit hesitant as well on this, but TSM, it appears they hesitated more.
Yeah, just Callisting straight into the team.
There's the TP as well.
Hanser had to teleport, so now there's going to be a teleport advantage on the side of Echo Fox. And Yellow Star had to use his ultimate without creating much of an actual zone. They were just outnumbered, and that was intended to delay. If you have the teleport advantage, you have to be willing to use it. There is a pink ward behind TSM if Echo Fox really wanted to get aggressive. But I don't think Solo was tanky enough to teleport in behind 5 people, especially a Syndra, since he's going...
No, yeah, his focus too is Tiamat.
He's going for a Titanic Hydra Iceborne Gauntlet build, which is kind of one of the standard builds for Trundle and solo queue, but very rare to see that build actually executed in competitive, because you just don't get the time to do that. Teams normally punish you way too hard before that moment. TSM hasn't been able to punish, and Solo's approaching that point.
I feel like it works out really great for him. Solo's becoming a nuisance now. Every time you see that, now that it's in his inventory, you say, well, he's not coming to the team fight. He's going to try to push top. I have to do something. Hanser now has another job to tend to, and this stops Yellow Star. And Svenskeren, we just saw, trying to go in hard. You'll see even less of that. Fox now trying to take control. They take down the mid lane turret. Theirs is still up. Still a bit of outer ring of gold here for Fox to pick up if they can get a second tier quite soon as well. They have Dragon on the docket as well, and they may just ward up for that and see if they can get something from it.
Yeah, neither team has really made their big move yet this game, but when you're getting this late, the first move could be really explosive. Death timers are getting longer and longer.
Exactly.
There's double marksman on the side of TSM. Trundle also takes turrets incredibly fast for Echo Fox on top of the Callista, so if a fight is won convincingly, there's a lot of outer turrets, and that's a lot of standing gold on the map. One team fight could open up about a 5,000 gold discrepancy. TSM going hard on the Dragon. This could be that fight.
All right. Svenskeren gets what he wants. Oh, all the way back. What a hook. That's the hook you want to hit, but nobody else can follow up, unfortunately. Big now too far deep, and a great hook puts him down, unfortunately. Kill for TSM, 3-1.
TSM gets the win because they committed as a full 5-man unit. They bursted down the Dragon very quickly, and they forced Echo Fox into a quick decision, which is what they should be doing more of, because most likely Echo Fox is not going to be making the correct quick decision on a team-wide basis, since they are a team that is kind of thrown together. Hard's first game of the season for these guys, first game back with Solo and Golden Glue.
Yes.
Nice move, clearly some disorganization for Fox as they collapsed in, and Yellow Star, once he recognized the Lantern was thrown and the fight was split, easy execute there onto Big with the flash.
I was surprised they went for it so quick with the reaction of Team Solo mid, because we were just talking about the push from Solo, getting up, staying away from Yellow Star's engage, and they kind of gave him the pile up right there to Team Solo mid.
Yeah.
Little edge for them to get back in. Essence Reaver, rapid fire cannon. The rapid fire cabin. Don't stay there. And then we got some items coming out here for Bjergsen as well. Didn't see Azania's coming out from Golden Glue's side. He's going for straight glass cannon destruction here. Looks like a Void Staff may even be next.
Okay, he's going to have to stay really far back.
Yes.
No magic resist items on him at all. Straight to the death cap.
Not gonna lie, I like that build, because you're just like lasering people out, but you have to hit them. He hasn't had too many chances to get that instant.
Yeah, well, he's been able to catch Svenskeren with a fair number of binds.
Yep.
But it's really hard to burst him out too, because Svenskeren's done the smart Graves thing. Oh, Malmortia's second item. Svenskeren almost wants you to try and tunnel on him so he can pop his maw and then just unleash.
A little bit more vision. They have a nice ward actually right behind TSM right now, so they can see that it's all team. And they'll use that ward to get up a little bit further. They want some hits on this pink, but they don't want to take it just yet. All right, that's good. Ult from Yellow Star. That'll do.
Front line kind of removed, and if they can split Monster down with Solo, that means they don't have the front line. There's a Svenskeren catch.
Flash before the
Whoa.
play. Oh, fade's called. He hooks it over the wall. That's going to be the scat of the meek from Bjergsen. Bjergsen shuts down the play. A double kill for him on both Keith and Big. That means a lot of the DPS is out of the fight here for Fox. Solo's on the run. We can't get Golden Glue's all back up quick enough, and that means they have to disperse and run from the fight.
Big with the huge bait onto his whole team right there. Do not take the lantern over the wall when your Thresh goes in blind and the Cinder is missing.
I respect him for taking the lantern.
Yeah, a lot of trust. I mean, you
player.
do need trust as a duo lane. That is one of the times when trust can backfire. Terrible move there by Fox to jump over the wall.
It was definitely in an instant moment, because we just saw them fighting for two pink wards that were right where Bjergsen was. Full vision of that area. That was a split-second decision, and sometimes...
It's those quick decisions.
Those quick ones.
That sometimes get you. Oh my goodness. It's such a good start to the play right here, but I feel like when they didn't get him on the box, Echo Fox decided to go too hard here. They throw him in, it's like, do not. Oh, they took it right into Bjergsen, who was on a pink ward. Into the Graves and Syndra AoE. Woo. Total destruction. They're able to chase down and get some nice damage. As well, gets him with the flash. Double lift. Never got slowed by the Iceborne because the fight was already lost. Trundle himself, with that build, like we said, is still kind of squishy. Hasn't finished his Titanic Hydra. Still sitting on that Iceborne Gauntlet. Very smart of Double lift to keep the damage up.
He's close to it. He's got the fist. He's got the Tiamat. He's looking to get there. But for the past few minutes, he's actually been taken out of that split push we saw him doing. Still got a bit of a CS lead. But not a lot of money came from those fights. Only TSM was able to get a bit of change in their pocket. Haunter now a few items for himself. Won't be as easy to get away with his Iceborne Gauntlet. And the rest of the team as well. This is a very dashy team, if you will. Everybody can pretty much get a move on except for Bjergsen. And he's just attacking his range anyway. So once these guys get a lead, they are always in your face.
Bjergsen's waiting for someone to dive in, and then he's just trying to blow him up with Syndra. Still very good CS, clean game from Bjergsen so far. It's been slower than TSM would have liked, and they have to be able to eliminate these types of mistakes. What are you doing up there, Double Lift?
You can only chuckle. You really can.
Oh, Double Lift, not again.
Oh, shucks. Gee golly whiz.
Really, what are you doing to that brush? Be with the team. They're pushing mid lane. Maybe he was hoping that Echo Fox would show somewhere else, but...
It's like a breather moment. This is the one time you're just at home in solo queue and you're like, oh yeah, I am in a game. Oh, I'll come back. Don't worry. Got a few seconds. 20 back for him. He's still doing quite well. He can put up some damage.
It's actually really bad for TSM because Solo has teleport advantage over Haunter, and Echo Fox can force a 5v3, which TSM would then have to dive in. On top of Pinkward, Scuttle Crab just died. Teleport going in.
Very
this is
right.
the 5v3. This could be Baron for Fox.
I was looking at inventory, kind of what was blowing out of that, and not the movement, but high stakes movement here from Fox. Yellow Star is going to go in. Flash pulverize. He's trying to disrupt the fight. Svenskeren getting out. If they can stay alive with a little bit of health on each member and just deter Fox, it's what they want. A 2-1 so far, and TSM came up huge on that.
Yeah, TSM knew they had to go in, and Svenskeren just lived after his maw popped up, so he could still get out the full damage. Nice attempt by Echo Fox, but TSM made the correct choice, piled in for the fight, and everything was behind Yellowstar. Yes, Doublelift's mistake was big and opened an opportunity for Fox, but Echo Fox was actually a little bit delayed on that play. Didn't go straight for Baron, and then also we're kind of halfway, it looked like halfway in between doing Baron and just straight out falling for the fight. Hard goes in, but Keith actually gets caught in the Baron pit from the Owlster, and that's where the fight hurts them there, because if Keith was on Svenskeren, they probably kill Svenskeren before he can get his ultimate off, but that was not the case. He really got the damage down hard.
Oh, wow. Just like Baron into collateral damage. Bye-bye.
Ouch.
And Solo actually was able to pick it up. So, see what Fox can do. Every time they try to put their foot forward, it kind of get their toes stepped on by TSM. And they can't find any advantage. They still got their wards placed. TSM hasn't been able to force too many forward, but it's really not about that now. TSM is happy to get this river warded up and do one of those Baron dances once again. 5,000 gold, 6,000 gold lead at this point. They know they have the lead, and here's a Fog of Warplay chat. It's trying to be set up by Fox.
They really want the flank there, but they can't really catch tank. Now they're behind on the play because the mid lane is pushing pretty aggressively.
You got routed on this one. Down the mid lane, just waiting for minions.
They don't want to let Echo Fox go through the base gate. TSM's actually super far ahead on the positioning, but the minion wave is advancing pretty slowly, so eventually they can make it back in. I got a little excited there, but the minions...
They were trying. Let's speed them up.
Minions too slow.
Got to get him some new shoes next game. 30 minutes in. Fox would rather fight under this turret they have. But they're also going to try to push TSM off the stairs of the base. Top turret to be taken down possibly. TSM can go right around the horn. They've taken out all the outer turrets now, so gold in their pocket. They just have to worry about getting past that the wall that is the front of the base. It's going to be very, very tough with gold and blue on Lux. How do they actually get around this on TSM side? How do they push down the Lux?
That is a question people have been asking for ages. One answer was increase the cooldown of her ultimate so she couldn't use it every minion wave. Those were fun years.
That's a good one.
Back in 2013. But as you can see, he just holds the E out there, and you can let it sit on the ground for so long that it's pretty much back off cooldown by the time you have to use another one, which makes it even harder to push single lanes. You have to push multi-lanes or get picks.
What? There it is!
What
That's
is
how you
happening?
use the fog.
Do not underestimate your opponent by standing in their team.
This is another one of those moments where Fox, they have zero vision of Fox on the map, and they still decide to face check.
This really hurts. So they have Callista, which means the Baron has to be engaged upon. You can't rely on a steal. But TSM has huge damage in the Baron pit. We're going to see this 5v4 yet again.
They make the right decision earlier this time, not letting Yellowstar get into disrupt. But can they get it? Is there a Fate's Call? Is there an engage to come back here?
Not really.
Doublelift gets popped and stopped, but dashes over it in a fight that Fox could have easily taken, rendered out at least on the exit.
Yeah.
They miss out on.
TSM keeps throwing fastballs right over the middle of the plate, and Echo Fox keeps just fouling them away. They're not actually hitting the home runs. These are so many opportunities Echo Fox has that they just can't quite convert on. They threw the threshold up to zone to let Baron finish, while the rest of the team pulled off Baron. So they just allowed TSM out of another mistake, and the 5,000 gold lead will extend for TSM. Haunter is now back alive with teleport up, so crisis completely averted.
Fox a little bit too, I guess at this point it's kind of scared of the engage, but a lot of respect for Team Solo Mid, even a man down coming into that fight. And we're going to see if they can set back up. Now it's all about the defense. TSM doesn't even look like they want to try and do-si-do with that Baron back and forth. It's about finding one member when the rest of the team can engage. Haunter, TP in, they're looking to get a push in here. Haunter actually maybe a little too far forward, throws down the ultimate, says bye-bye.
How did he get 3? That means the fight's over. But it wasn't actually a fight TSM could re-engage on after knocking away 3 people. Not a very good teleport. He came in from the back and didn't get a wall stun, didn't delay anyone for farther up CC. The way I think this team composition should work for TSM if Haunter's going to do a flank engage like that is he needs to body slam to a squishy like Golden Glue or Keith, then do a point blank ultimate straight up in the air, and then Bjergsen or Yellowstar need to be waiting with follow-up stun.
Yeah.
Because that's actually one of the best uses I've seen of Poppy Ultimate, outside of just blowing people out of the fight, is just almost using it like a Bard Ultimate, where you're just putting him in temporary stasis,
right,
letting the team catch up, surrounding the person, and then killing him. But not how it was used there.
Fox didn't have such a team that could play at such distance, you'd probably see one hell of a CC chain from this TSM team.
Yeah.
Barring every fight.
But like you said, they're playing from a pretty good distance,
yeah.
so it's hard to set up the plays.
Distance allows these spooky ghosts to get some work done. TSM actually was able to get some forward work, maybe a few even, towards the Raptor wall and whatnot. It's definitely going to stop bindings from Golden Blue coming in. So they're a little bit safer to push up here, but still, that seems to be their only flaw. Like, they play so well, they win a fight, and then they'll face check a push. TSM puts themselves back down another run. Always up in gold, but not giving themselves an opening to really take a turret. Poncer down to the bot lane, much tankier now than Solo is.
Definitely. Look at those items cranking out on the Poppy.
And another belt, Alacrity boots for speed.
Maybe a Randwin's coming in next for Hanser would probably be the right choice. But Solo, honestly, once he uses the ultimate onto the Poppy, he's going to be just as tanky if he actually wants to all-in for that duel. At the time, though, they're really just trading minion waves because it's all about the TP advantage right now. It's, again, been created for Echo Fox. TSM keeps using these teleports and not getting anything out of it, so Echo Fox has this big amount of pressure they can put on the map. Echo Fox could be getting vision in the Baron area, pushing top lane, trying to manage the wave mid lane, and then looking for picks with the Lux ultimate, but they haven't been able to do anything here as TSM is keeping them back with the Syndra pressure or the fear of a Graze Burst. Also,
much more CS here for Bjergsen as he's continuously farming, something Golden Glue continues to fall down on, but 356 and 300 for Bjergsen and Double Lift. If you kind of mirror that, Golden Glue and Keith, they're both hitting 300 right now, so there's at least that item for Bjergsen. It's really putting down the damage. Golden Glue, even looking for Ludens now, still going for that power to try and zero out a member
they're trying to sneak
of the team.
I thought they were trying to sneak it.
There have been times when Fox has been out of vision for this to happen. Easily enough. The last time we saw Haunter check, they were out of vision.
They're showing 2 or 3 people on the map, and it was a little slow because Keith didn't hop over the wall immediately. Oh, jeez.
Oh!
The back spikes, by the way, do more damage than the front spikes on Baron. So Hard trying to sneak it from the back of the pit. Increase the amount of damage he was taking, and especially if you're alone with the back spikes, they again gain a damage boost, which is why Hard got crushed so far. Keith is actually the one who messed up that play. He needed to be able to jump over the Baron pit, but I think he failed his jump at the very start of that one. And then Hard was in the Baron pit already having aggroed it.
A little too long.
Otherwise, maybe they would have been able to sneak that play. Heady check there by Svenskeren, recognizing you just walk in to make sure nothing else was a miss. Sloppy game, I will say.
A little bit. Coming down to the wire here in plays, or coming down to just each play. One could get Fox a few good turrets and then a few core items that they need. Another play on the other side for TSM could get them right inside the base. We're 36 minutes in right now, and those death timers are going to be long enough to at least take down a Nexus. But home guards are also up after that 20-minute mark, which makes it a bit more difficult, especially with Golden Glue's Lux.
And also because the fights are taking place so repeatedly on Echo Fox's side of the map. If Echo Fox does lose a fight, even if it's not all 5 people, and TSM has turret-killing champions up, that could also be the end of the game. But as you say, this game gets later and later. If we hit 46 minutes, death timers on level 18 champions will be 72 seconds long. And that's enough to push down the entire opposite side of the base. So the longer TSM sits in this stasis place of not taking in any additional turrets, the higher the risk of one mistake actually costing them the game becomes.
Which means they're, at this point, is quite a medium-sized road. I wouldn't say the long road yet because of those death timers, but if they were to get a fight, they have a lot of work to do, and it's 1 or 2 fights for Fox to actually, at this point, get back to that Nexus. They have a lot ahead of them, so maybe waiting is the best bet here. If they can get the right fight at the right time, that means game over. 6-6 in kills, but TSM has been able to keep that gold lead, able to keep map pressure. And the last few mistakes have definitely calmed down their aggression of moving forward into Fox's jungle.
What about that? But
all right,
this has been every successful move from TSM in this game, is when they all 5 go to make a decision and force Echo Fox to respawn. It is dangerous to try and take a Baron against Lux and Elise, but here we go. They pull off.
Not getting a teleport on anybody. We already
have stay on it.
5v5. Hard back on the Rift, does not get the smite down. That's going to be Svenskeren's. TSM's happy to fight this one. Yellowstar ult on, they say focus Keith. He is now in the middle of the pit, and the whole team turns eyes onto him. Now focus onto Hard and both Big, and it looks like they're going to be able to take both of them down. A triple kill coming in. Now it's going to be a double and one for Svenskeren as TSM finally gets the fight they were waiting for.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be the game with Baron buff, with a 4-for-0. I don't see one solo defending against these TSM people pushing in, and that was just a nice force by TSM and a poor collapse there by Echo Fox.
That's going to be it. Solo does his damnedest to try and stop the inhibitor from going down. And what a fight from Fox throughout the mid game, trying Baron after Baron, but TSM had their number. They have the game. They got a 38-minute, 38-second win over Fox. TSM take the game over Echo Fox.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to be super happy about that one because they did have a lead. Then Doublelift would be caught. It would set up a dangerous situation. Then Hauntzer got caught out of position a few times, set up another dangerous situation. But I think the main takeaway for Team Solomid in this game is just make calls and push the tempo. Because every time TSM would push the tempo in this game, as a team, whether it was the Dragon fight, where they got a bunch of kills, or the Baron fight that ended the game, it was their road to victory.
So what you're saying is just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Well, they did in the end. It took him a little bit. It took a few double lift catches in the top lane, all the way by himself, and a bit of a lane push there, but TSM still kind of looking like TSM. Bjergsen gets big in the mid lane. We do see that Doublelift has brought his I want to farm and carry to the outside edges, and if TSM they hold off long enough, they'll find the fights they need. And we've known TSM to be a team at 38, 40 minutes to get a wham bam, thank you ma'am fight and be ending the game.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about that final fight a little bit more because Echo Fox used most of their team fighting tools to attempt the Baron steal so that when the fight actually happened, they didn't have anything left.
Right.
So even if they would have stolen the Baron, TSM still would have won the fight and most likely ended the game. So using that entire Lux combo, not just an ultimate, just a full EQR from Lux that Golden Glue tried to do to steal that Baron, left nothing up for the fight, whereas Bjergsen's Syndra was still free to burst someone. Made it